Going against Caleb Pang, Cytochrome T, Sassafras 88 here. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Hack Nazar, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at the double ice line once again in the Open Ultra League, and we have some very entertaining battles today for you against some very top-notch trainers, including Caleb Pang once again. So you're definitely going to want to check those out. Double ice line has been my go-to team for a couple of seasons now for the Open Ultra League, and we have hit the leaderboard. Nothing too crazy or too high. I believe we were at like 446, but I did get up to 2700 peak. I'm about 2690 right now, so team is still working. Not as dominant as it has been in previous seasons, but it's still getting the job done. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so first battle here going against Caleb Pang, one of the best players in the world. So you know this is going to be a great battle here. And he is leading an Umbreon XL. So I had no idea what his team was at this time. And Articuno actually has a pretty good match against Umbreon, so you don't have to shield anything, just stay in this matchup. Match shields if they decide to use one, but in most situations the opponent will look to switch out. Now, the thing about Caleb's team is that I know he tends to run the same typing, two of them in the back, so when he brings out a Escavalier here, I kind of know that he's going to have something to steal in the back, and my thought at this time is that's probably Melmetal, but I bring out the Giratina anyways just because I know it has a bad match against Umbreon, and I figured if he doesn't have Melmetal, maybe I'll be in a good spot. It's all guessing at this point, but I'm not feeling too comfortable here. I know I'll maintain switch, but I don't know how important it's going to be in the end. So I'm looking to have a lot of energy here on the Giratina, but I realize too that he's going to get to another move if I don't throw a Dragon Claw, so I'm going to throw this to knock out the Escavalier here. I would expect the Umbreon to come back in. Now I get off this Dragon Claw, which is pretty huge because it's going to allow me to switch back out into my Articuno. So I'm going to do that right here. Prevent the Umbreon from taking me out. Now he brings in Melmetal. So this is kind of what I expected. Now fortunately for me, I will be able to get off this Icium, which is going to debuff the Melmetal. And I still have the Giratina for a little bit of chip damage, but this is still a tough spot. Fortunately, we do have two shields, and it seems to be every time I battle Caleb Pang, we always save our shields for the end. I don't know why, but that's usually what happens. So I bring in the Giratina here. The Melmetal attack is debuffed, but I should still be in Rock Slide range. So I get off the first Shot Sneak, which is pretty huge. And he actually allows me to get to his second move, and I know he's going to shield at this point, so I just throw the Dragon Claw, and it does get the shield, so that's very good. So now I have two shields. He brings in Umbreon. I'm gonna let the Giratina go down here. I could have switched into Lapras, but this is totally fine too. And my play at this point is to pretty much have enough energy on this Lapras to get off two Surfs against that Melmetal, because I think it is in Surf range, and I can't shield anything here with Lapras. So I'm gonna throw one Surf here. And after I throw this Surf, my play is going to be to farm down completely to be at 100 energy. So this Umbreon is going to be thrown its foul place. Thankfully, Lapras is very tanky, and it really doesn't matter how low I get, because as long as I can't get farmed down, I'll be in a good spot. So he switches out there. He has enough for a foul play, but I think he's short one Snarl of two foul plays. So there's the first Rock Slide. I shield that up. This Surf here is going to get his shield. And now he's going to throw another move. I'm going to shield this, and we're going to throw the Surf. The Surf should be enough to knock out the Melmetal here. And then you can see the timer for the game is actually coming up here. So this should eliminate the Melmetal. I hope it does. Umbreon's going to come back in. This is not going to KO. Timer is going to run out. I don't think he has enough for two foul plays. We'd have to see it from his end, but I don't know. Either way, that was a crazy game. We do get the win there. GG's to Caleb there. Shout out to him. Very talented trainer. Lover. 2-5-6 in the next matchup. This is the match everyone wants to see. Melmetal lead. How do you beat Melmetal lead? The truth is, you pretty much lose to Melmetal leads every single time unless the opponent makes a mistake, or if they have a line in the back that is extremely weak to like Lapras, Giratina. So you can see here I throw the Icy Wind. Usually they go for the farm down here, so you could get off a second Icy Wind, and now they're double debuff. So I'm going to throw this Icy Wind here. You can see even though that they do like even though Melmetal is a tough match, you can see it does go quite into the low health here. So I bring in the Giratina. My plan here is to basically farm down. Them throwing their energy here is the best thing you could hope for. It's a lot better than them switching out, to be honest. And I'm taking quite a bit of damage here. I was hoping to farm down for 100 energy, but at this point I'm kind of in a tricky spot, because if I throw I won't be at 100. So I have to take another rock slide here in order to do this. So I do farm down completely. You can see we're relatively very low now in health. Have a lot of energy. Opponent brings in something. I did not see what that is. Let me see what it is here. It's Togekiss. So I'm going to switch out immediately into my Lapras here. He brings out Swampert. So this is actually playable because Lapras has a decent matchup against Swampert here. And this honestly seemed like it was a bit too quick, and I was expecting the Hydro Cannon bait, so I didn't call it. That's huge there. Part of the win condition here is to call, or at least hope for, a Hydro Cannon, which the opponent does do there. So I'm going to go for the second Surf here. We're putting the Swampert very low now. And this is going to get the shield from the Swampert. So at this point now, actually, we're getting pretty low to where Earthquake actually would KO. So I do shield this. I was expecting it to be Hydro Cannon, but I can't take any risks. I bring Giratina here. I was expecting to switch out. That's why I'm throwing the Shadow Sneak. I was expecting Togekiss to come in, but he did not switch. So I get the shield anyways, which is really good here. And now the Togekiss comes in. So I'm just going to throw this Dragon Claw here. And I'm feeling pretty good now. We have a shield, and you can see this is not lag here. The opponent stopped attacking on purpose because he wanted me to have less health on the Togekiss to farm with my Lapras. What the opponent failed to realize was that my Lapras already had a move ready, and now it's a lot easier for me to farm him down. So I just come in with Lapras here. I'm not gonna have to shield anything, farm it down completely, and now I already had the move ready, but this just made it a lot easier. Ice Beam is gonna come through, and we are going to take that game against the Melmetal lead with a shield in hand. So that rarely ever happens, but you can see there, sometimes you can beat Melmetal. Cytochrome T here in the next matchup, very talented trainer. And you can see these are some pretty crazy battles so far. Cresselia into Articuno. So in this particular matchup, I usually always shield the first move. It's not necessary because you could still shield after and win. But I chose to let this one go, and the main reason I chose to let it go here was because I was expecting him to switch out at some point and not stay in this matchup with Cresselia. That's why I didn't shield there. So I wanted to maintain 2 shields. I do throw the Icy Wind here again, and you can see he lets that go. And now he switched out into Registeel. So I'm going to bring in Giratina here. And this is a situation where I actually did not debuff the Registeel before coming in with Giratina. But Giratina is still okay here if I want to use shields. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Sneak here. And as long as he doesn't have another Steel type in the back, we should be okay with alignment. But it's not the greatest situation to be in here. So Flash Cannon comes through. Going to throw another Shadow Sneak here. And I believe in the 0 shields, Registeel will win this matchup. So I'm probably going to have to use a shield if I want to maintain Switch. I'm not certain how important Switch is here at this point, but I choose to let this go, which might have been a mistake, to be honest. I figured I could come in here and farm down with the Articuno. So I know I'd get to the Icy Wind. The question is, can this Icy Wind be enough to KO? Because I need it to be. And you can see there, I get 2 more Ice Shards and it's still short. So complete misplay on my part. I'm forced to shield now, basically. And that is pretty much the turning point in this game. Because being down the shield now, I will survive this move here. But it's not looking good because I definitely needed that extra shield here. And knowing that he had the Registeel in the back, I should have just played this out the proper way maybe. Stayed in with the Articuno, but actually no. If I shield the first time, you can see here I actually didn't get to the Icy Wind at the last second like his Pokemon did either. So I'm getting pretty bad with the timing here. Swampert comes in, so obviously this is a great matchup for Lapras, so I kind of wish I had that shield still. I did call the Earthquake correctly there. This is a bit too tough spot, especially because I'm pretty sure his Cresselia has energy there. It was really unfortunate that I wasn't able to KO it with the Articuno there, so put myself in a tough position here. And sometimes it just comes down to things like that, the opponent making one better play than you did, and that's going to be pretty much the game there. So Earthquake comes through. You can see I am going to get rid of this Swampert because Lapras has a very good match against the Shadow variant, but the Cresselia is going to come in. Not having that shield, as you can see, is going to cost me having to waste it on the Articuno against Registeel. Ends up being the difference in this game, so very well played game there by the opponent, and we lose this one. Moving into the next matchup here, I actually missed the start of this game, but this is Articuno into Cresselia. This is against Bernie Sanders N, who is another very talented trainer that I battled many times in Open Ultra League. So this is right when the match started, basically. We didn't miss anything really. Again, you could see here, I actually didn't shield the first Moonblast from the Cresselia. And it looks like he may have lagged a little bit there. Unless it was a visual glitch, but it probably was lag on his end, so that's unfortunate for him. He switches out into Lapras here. So at this point, I throw the Ancient Power. You could argue that I throw the Icy Wind, and debuff it, then bring in the Lapras. The thing is, I know that his Lapras does not run Ice Beam. So I bring in Giratina here to catch the Surf, which is very good. And I know that he doesn't have Ice Beam. He has Skull Bash. You're asking me, why would you bring Giratina into a Lapras? It's because he doesn't have Ice Beam, and the Ancient Power has put this Lapras low enough to the point where my Giratina will actually win this matchup because of him not having Ice Beam. So he's probably just going to keep going straight for Surfs here. And you can see we're actually doing very well in this matchup despite it being a Giratina into Lapras here. So he brings back in the Cresselia here. We're going to get hit by a Moonblast. I don't think I'm going to shield this. I think I'm going to let this go through. Yeah, I do let it go. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get to this move, which is a little unfortunate. But you can see I did swap out there before it KO'd, which is huge because now I'm going to have that Giratina as a potential sack in the back. So I bring in the Articuno here, and I should survive this and be able to farm down here, I believe. So let's see if that's how it plays out. Moonblast comes through. I should be able to farm here. We're not at a move yet. Let's see if he brings in the Lapras or if he decides to bring in his third Pokemon, which is a Swampert. So bringing in Swampert means he's probably going to farm me down, but that means I'm also going to be able to get to this Icy Wind, which I probably wouldn't have been able to get to against the Lapras. Either way would have been close, but he does farm me down. So he has a lot of energy, but fortunately we do have 2 shields still. And now I'm going to bring in the Lapras, of course. And he switched onto his own Lapras. So at this point, I know he's going for the Skull Bash. I'm going to look to catch this move onto the Giratina that I saved with literally like 0.5 HP, not even 1 HP. And I think it's that Skull Bash. Now bring it in. There it is, the perfect sack. Sometimes it's a fail, but this time worked out perfectly. And because it's a Skull Bash, that means I'm actually going to be able to farm even more energy onto my Lapras here. Swampert comes in. Lapras versus Swampert's already a very good matchup. And with this type of health advantage, a shield advantage, we should be good here. I do make a mistake here though. I let this go through. I was expecting it to be in a Hydro Can, that's why I let it go through. But if he did throw the Earthquake and I let that go through, I could have ended up losing this game because of the switch timer and him having more health than me. So I got very fortunate there that it was not an Earthquake. And yeah, even though that was a lock, I almost cost myself the game there because of the timer. So GG's. Very good game there. Free win algorithm here in the next matchup. So with a name like that, you could definitely expect some weird stuff to be happening here on the opponent's side. So Articuno into Cresselia here. You saw in the previous 2 matches against Cresselia, I did not shield the first move, trying something different, paid off once, failed the other time. This time I go back to the regular strategy, just shield up the Moonblast here, and I'm going to go straight Icy Wind from this point on. And he does switch out into Charizard, so I could switch out right away, but I'm going to decide to throw the Ancient Power because most people do not shield this. So Ancient Power comes through, you can see it does a lot of damage, and now I'm going to switch out into my Giratina. If I didn't have wasted my shield on the Articuno against Cresselia, I would have stayed in that match and farmed down. But because I did, I bring in Giratina, catch the Blast Burn, which is pretty big for me, and now I'm looking to farm down. Unfortunately, we're not able to, so I'm going to get hit by a Dragon Claw here, which is going to do some substantial damage, and I farm down completely. So let's see what he comes back in now with. Probably Cresselia if I had to guess. And it is, no, it's going to be Obstagoon. So this is actually really rough for me because Obstagoon does have a very good matchup against my entire back line. So we do have the Articuno still, but this isn't looking too good. I think my play here is to bring in the Lapras at this point and hope that he doesn't have Cross Chop. Try to catch the Night Slash, which I was not able to catch. It's over farming a lot, probably anticipating the switch. And of course, he has Cross Chop, so nobody I face ever has Gunk Shot. It's always Cross Chop, so this makes the matchup a lot more difficult for the Lapras, of course. Trying to get to this Surf here, over farmed by 1, which a little bit risky, but we do get the Surf off there. And we get the shield. So now we're only even on shields. And I think I'm going to let this go here, to be honest. I do. Cross Chop comes through. Going to bring in the Articuno. And he's probably going to go for Night Slash. This obviously will not KO. And Icy Wind will be enough to KO, but will he switch out to preserve the Obstagoon? He does not. So this Icy Wind should be enough to KO if he does not shield. Let's see how he plays this out. He lets it go through. So even though this Cresselia is very healthy, we have an opportunity here. Getting to that Icy Wind would have been huge, and I could shield and get to it, but I decided not to because Wound Blast will still pretty much KO the Giratina. So I decided to preserve the shield here, and I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw. I need to get the shield here. If this is not shielded, I'm going to lose. We get the shield, so that's part 1 of the win condition. Get to the Shadow Sneak here, and if I shield the next move and beat him to the next Shadow Sneak, we're going to win this matchup. So all I need is 1 more Shadow Sneak. Shield this up. I'm going to beat him to the move. The only thing that can help him is an attack debuff. Attack fell. every single time. So I get to the Dragon Claw here. This is CMP. The only way I win is if this KOs. He survives with literally like 0.1 health because of the attack debuff. So the attack debuff, super clutch for the opponent there, actually ends up winning him the game. You could have seen I would not have got to Shadow Sneak because it was CMP ties, so very unfortunate for us there. Rock Baron here in the next matchup, Machamp lead, very difficult lead. You can see here I'm picking out the matches where it's very difficult and there's a lot of losses here. I'm not just showing the matches I win because my sets are not just straight wins. I lose a lot of games here. Call the Rock Slide correctly this time. They usually always go for the cross chop, but this time I did call the Rock Slide correctly. This is still a bad matchup. The only way you could win this basically is if they go for the cross chop and you do not shield it. That's super risky because Rock Slide is going to KO. So Icy Wind comes through here, gets the second shield, and at this point I could try to switch out to catch this move onto Giratina, which I was trying to do, but unfortunately this is going to come through. Even if I did do that, I'd still be in a tough spot after because I need Giratina basically for anything that in the back that is steel type. This is going to be a cross chop, not going to do anything. And it's super debuffed, so this literally will like do nothing to Giratina. I farmed down completely, but he has alignment now. Brings in Obstagoon, which is not good. So yeah, we're in a pretty tough spot here. Not really too much I can do. I bring in Lapras again. Once again, hoping that they're not running cross chop to make this matchup a bit more favorable for Lapras. But as always, they always have cross chop. And he brings in Scizor, so Scizor versus Lapras isn't too bad. I could actually win this matchup with Lapras. The problem is I can't really beat that Obstagoon in the back, so I'm going to get to another Surf here. And this would have been amazing if it is enough to KO, but it's not. So he's going to get off the Iron Head here, which is going to just about KO, I think. It doesn't KO. I make a mistake here. I should not have farmed down. I should have let him take me out so that I could get a bit of energy on my Giratina. Instead, I gave the Obstagoon free energy, and maybe it wouldn't make a difference, but just for the sake of making the right play, that's how I should have done it there. So you could see the Obstagoon here going to throw the Night Slash and an unnecessary attack boost to just make this match even more dominant. So I bring in the Dragon Claw here. Now Night Slash will not KO here, but you can see my Dragon Claw, I actually get to the Dragon Claw here, and this almost is enough to KO here, but we fall just short, and maybe it wouldn't have made a difference because it gets the Night Slash anyways, but yeah. And there's a second attack boost just for the heck of it, just to rub it in, so yeah, I don't know. Sassafras 88 here, another very good battler. Articuno into Giratina Origin here. So this is a great matchup for Articuno, of course. Opponent is going to switch out into Clefable here. So the thing with this matchup is you want to stay in with Articuno and just align after the Lapras with the Giratina. So I'm going to get to the Icy Wind here. Opponent's going to throw the move. I have to shield up the Meteor Mash for sure. And unfortunately for me, we CMP tied. I didn't want to throw this, so I chose not to hit any bubbles because I just want to farm down. But to my surprise, he actually shielded, which I was not expecting to happen. And I make a misplay here. I think I could have farmed down. It would take 8 charms. I wasn't counting, but I could have probably farmed down, but I didn't want to risk it. I guess I was counting and I figured he was going to beat me to it before I could farm down. Didn't want to burn a second shield, so I threw there. Maintaining switch is more important there, so just ensure you do that. Giratina comes in, I throw the Ice when he lets it go through, and we get farmed down. So I'm going to bring in the Lapras, instantly switch into the Giratina versus Cresselia here. And this isn't an amazing matchup in the one shield, but I'm probably going to save my shield for the Lapras anyways here. So let's see how this plays out. Moonblast comes through. I just want to go straight Shadow Sneaks here. We're in a very good spot. I know that Giratina has a lot of energy, and I don't necessarily want to win this match and let him farm down my Giratina. So I'm actually going to let this go through here. And basically he's going to farm me down. So I'm going to bring in the Lapras here. And I know I could take whatever he throws at the first one. I'd like to see if he has Grass Knot actually first. So he does throw here, which is good for me. Future Sight, so I know he doesn't have Grass Knot. And he brings in Giratina, probably trying to catch the move, the Surf. But I saw this coming, so I throw the Ice Beam here, knock out the Giratina before he get a move, and he brings back in the Cresselia. We're going to take that game. So some very solid matches there. A couple of difficult matches as well, but overall very entertaining, and Double Ice is a very fun team to run still in Open Ultra League. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.